Hello, my friends. All right, all right. I'm back for another update. As you can probably tell, in my last few videos have been kind of all over the map. I've done some blue reviews. I've done uh, the introduction to my website, which I needed to do that so that it would be online so that I could link it into my website. And I've done that. Um, Again, the plans for the launch of my website are getting closer, closer, closer. I've been working on this piece. I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak preview, even though I don't really like to do this, but maybe it'll give you a peek into my creative process. It's kind of a sloppy process. You know, I've heard there's additive and subtractive kinds of rendering, like uh, additive, you have this little idea, say on canvas, and then you just start splashing shit all around, and then it goes out. Subtractive is like you have a whole bunch of things going on, and then you gradually hone it down to what you want. So I'm more of the latter, the subtractive. So this is going to be in its final version, slightly tinted. This will be the introductory piece of art on my next post, which will be the relaunch of Henry Clovert's Flickr Street official website. That's henryclovertsflickerstreet.net. Anyway, so yeah, I have been working on this guy. As you can see, it's got lots of sloppy parts and unfinished and lots of whiteout. And I like to add whiteout into my um, repertoire when I do ink, just like I add the eraser as part of it when I do pencil. So this character, yeah, a major, major, major character from the origins of Flicker Street, but who is deceased in the modern day stories that I'm doing. Um, so he will be talked about quite a bit in the Flicker Street The Birth segment. He's a pivotal character, and I have not really drawn him. I have not drawn him in years, and I've not drawn him full blown like this with research on the armor and et cetera and photographic reference, and also while keeping some of the uh, parts I thought were iconic about his old design that dates back to high school. Um, but I also wanted to do it in pen and ink for a difference, since my portraits have been in pencil. So I wanted to render in pen and ink and try to master and do this kind of subtractive, kind of sloppy, impressionistic, expressionistic thing where I kind of boil it down to the core figure. And of course, I'm strongly influenced by people like Bill Sienkiewicz, most definitely. Ever since high school, I have been. Um, so that's one thing I wanted to show you. I haven't been totally idle. My hands are getting better. I have problems time and again, but I'm on a special medication and doing some exercises, so I can work. Sometimes it's hard to work 3 days a week at a day job, and I still work on eBay, but sometimes I get worn out on the typing. And the drawing, though, this is when I first started feeling better, and I just hurled myself into it. So I grab that as I'm inspired. So if I'm sitting around and something's bugging me about it, and I go, "Oh, I'm going to go in and do this," and then I could end up finishing it or just leaving it for another day. It's part of my artistic process. Maybe some of you guys can understand. I will give a shout out to some art friends later on that have kind of inspired me or that I've shown this recent work to, etc. For now, let me say yes. I had the blue review of the Batman. I saw it theatrically. I had the introduction to the website. Um, I had a couple other blue reviews, but then I also had um, two Flickr Street videos about Flickr Street The Birth back then. And I had a couple updates on my life and what's going on with me. So it's been kind of erratic. So I'm trying to boil this whole channel down to these lean components. A regular show continuing called Blue Review. I've done 102 episodes now, I believe. I've sketched out the next several, and I'm very excited about them. So now that they're in place in my head, I just need to shoot them when I'm ready, when I'm spontaneous like this. I'm bringing back the Bottomless Well show, which is my music show of obscure and odd bands and albums from years past, just no rhyme or reason, just stuff I found on YouTube or stuff that I've researched over the years and finally heard on YouTube or through other means. And I provide links for how you can listen to what I heard online. Um, and before I did 2 episodes, each one had 5 bands, and generally focused in on one album by each of those bands as endemic of their work. But of course, in some cases, they only did one band. I mean, they only did one album. But ones like Coven, I was able to kind of give a little mini bio of their career and albums. So I really kind of homed in on Blood on the Snow album, classic album. Of course, that one was easy. I've been following them for 30 years. I've been corresponding with Jinx Dawson for 15 years. So I'm a heavy Covenite, but I wanted them to be the headlining band of that series. But then, I don't know, I got burnt out. I didn't really get burnt out so much as I shifted gears into my space rock series, and I only got the first 2 editions of that shot. And that's something I may never return to, but it was quite an experience. It was educational. I immersed myself in the space rock and futuristic and science fiction music for a full month. I created a couple of playlists that were pretty massive, but also I thought very definitive, maybe never to be shared. So, however, that research is paying off because as I'm going back and realigning my personal digital files of my music collection, I'm able to kind of go, hey, yeah, there's so and so, and pull that album out and re-experience part of it, maybe, and then maybe download another album by the same band from the same era that I didn't find as crucial to the space rock thing, but which helps me expand my knowledge of that band's oeuvre and evolution or de-evolution in some cases of their sound. So the Bottomless Well will be a regular thing. I've sketched out 5 or 6 episodes. They're going to be shorter. I'm not going to do 5. I'll be able to go into depth a little more on the histories of the groups, even though some of the groups are very obscure and there's not much that I can find out. But I'll be scouring, Wikipedia and Prague archives and all kinds of specialized websites, Discogs, etc. So my goal is to begin with 4 bands, see how that goes. If it goes on too long, or I feel like I'm losing the plot, I'll lean it down to 3 and 3 in-depth bands / archetypal albums of those bands. So I've already selected quite a few. I just have to get them in the order in my head and what'll work best in what episode, and which I can start using 4 of them, and what will be the best as far as time economy and you making the episode as lean and communicative as possible and informative, hopefully, and maybe even enjoyable. So that's those 2 shows. Going full ahead, get videos like this, personal shows I'll do from time to time. This is another update, really. I had shot one a week ago, and I wasn't happy with it for various reasons. But I am going to update a few things from my last such video, which was the fate of the new show and things that need be said. And I was proud of how that video came out, even though parts of it could be seen as rather contentious by certain people. So I'm going to quickly, as I can, go back over what I was putting forth in that video and what may have been contentious, and try to smooth that out and move forward, because that's going to all move into my other future works that I'm going to post on this channel. So the first thing, I talked about my socio-political commentary channel not coming to fruition after a few kind of test pilots and testing the waters and getting pretty good reaction. And then this war thing came crashing down on me, and social media went into a frenzy of xenophobia and pro-censorship and pro-World War III. And I felt lost in all that. I felt that the strong opinions I have, I would be completely vilified for, or at least ignored or misunderstood. But I'm kind of used to those two things. I didn't want my channel to get pulled, but I figured it's very small, so they probably won't notice. But I might use some trigger word that'll hit the algorithms, and they go wing wing and get me. I might be labeled a Russian bot, whatever. And I'm seeing the channels that I faithfully follow. They're holding the banner for the left and truth telling that I've mentioned many times before on this channel. I love these people, and they are boldly going forward into this milieu. They are holding back a bit on YouTube and speaking more freely on the venue of Rockfin and also one called Odyssey, occasionally Rumble. Um, but I'm behind them all the way. I visit their chats. I'm getting to know the people in the chats. I am very chastened and encouraged by the coalescing of ideas. It was really happening because the COVID narrative was becoming decoded, and that was bringing more people together. And then the war happens, and now once again it is being used as a wedge to drive us apart, and it's making us more and more aware of the real huge divisions between American and international leftists on issues. I may do the show again in a more cautious format, while still expressing my blunt opinions about certain things. So I'm thinking the fate of the new show might not be completely indefinite or cancellation. It's going to be kind of mulling it over for several days or weeks. I wanted to thank my most vocal supporter, Jessica Anderson, JC Anderson. She's really encouraged me by her words on here and in messages. I don't really socialize with her much. I know she has, Messenger. I know she has kind of her own life and her own deal. She seems like a very strong, independent woman. She's a very beautiful woman, and I mean that. She's very classy and distinctive looking, and her brain is like a laser beam. So uh, she's been my most ardent supporter, but I have had several of their supporters in the leftist groups, and a couple of close friends who have told me. Now, I have had a couple of closer friends who are just not remotely interested in me doing the channel, and some of which may or may not think I'm being a moron doing it, or maybe just that it's unnecessary or it won't make a difference. The thing about won't make a difference is fuck that. I threw that I never liked that argument, and I threw it wholesale out the window in 2015 when Bernie Sanders began running for president. I was like, bad argument. Come up with some new material, man. Won't make a difference. He'll never win. No one will vote. Those things are fatalistic behaviors that you are provoking in people. You are manifesting them, and if you say no one will vote for them, and then all your people say, "Oh yeah, no one will vote for them, so I won't vote for them," then no one votes for them. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And those people are unevolved, and I'm trying to evolve. I really am trying to ongoingly evolve, and I can't keep up with the horrible things in the world, and I'm trying to survive and in my own way, in my own, corner of the universe, and do as little harm as possible, but suffer fools as ill as possible, as opposed to suffering them gladly. Um, so yeah. Um, so I still have a lot to say. We'll get around to saying it in that venue. I'll keep you posted. As for the rest of the video, fate of the new channel, fate of the new show, and things that need to be said, I'll go ahead and follow up on my thanks and my asking for help. I'm still in dire need of money to pay my $1,400 property tax. I will get a lien on my house against my house, and they'll try to revoke my deed or however that works, and take my house away. And BlackRock will buy it up, and it'll be added to their millions of houses they're scooping up all over the country, and it'll be like the victims of the 2008 crash that could have been halted by the incoming president, but he did not do it. Um, so I don't want to be in this position, you know. Um, it frightens me. So I've had some donations to my GoFundMe. Those have kind of trickled off. I'm having a few regular donations to my Facebook fundraiser, and a few friends have PayPal'd me funds directly. And my good friend Tim Tolbert has continued to provide funds to the channel in order for me to uh, occasionally review some new Blu-rays and to uh, be able to afford theatrical showings to films that we are interested in reviewing. We, when I say, because he and I kind of, you know, bat our ideas back and forth, and then I kind of put the video together. I mean, that wasn't my old way of working, but I think that's a good way. I like collaborating with him, and it works really, really well with the Batman review, I thought, which really no one watched, but that's okay. It's okay. I went a little over long, and I even ran out of space, to record it, which I may do again. Who knows? Hopefully not. So I won't try to talk. I'll try to talk too long here. Um, so all the information is below. If you can donate, if you can share it, these links. I'm in dire straits. I want to say a recent donor to my PayPal directly was Mary Screams, who was a collaborator and close friend of my all-time favorite comic book writer, Steve Gerber. She's in my Steve Gerber RIP group, which was the first official Steve Gerber group on Facebook. Still the largest and still really the only one that matters that I'm aware of. And I'm very proud of that group. And so when she joined a few years ago, I was really excited. And we've gradually uh, communicated. And she said, let me help you out with this. And I think she helped me out of the kindness of her heart, and for the fact that I had the group and I put out so much positive things about Steve, but I put a lot of positive things about her as well and her work with Steve, especially on Omega the Unknown that came out when I was a kid, and her unsung, her really indispensable effect on Steve's life. And some haters came on my group and were like kind of slanging off Steve and Mary, and uh, you know, uh, promoting the kind of repression and censorship and marginalization and blackballing that Jim Shooter was perpetrating against them and a lot of other people as the 80s dawned, including Jack Kirby, Gene Colan, Roy Thomas. We could go on for a while. Steve Englehart. I mean, basically, Shooter scared off the brilliant 70s talent and disrespected Kirby by not giving him his original art back. And so I wrote on my page, I'm not very subtle when it comes to these things. And I wrote, for those of you who wish to, and I may have mentioned this on my last video. If I did, I apologize. I guess I just find it so humorous and mean spirited to someone who really deserves it that I like recounting it again. But I said for those who wish to uh, fellate Jim Shooter or sexually gratify Jim Shooter, virtually in a group in public, there are plenty of other Marvel venues for you to do that, and comics venues, plenty. People like Arlen Schumer, who is just a blight on that scene. He happily runs those kind of venues. So I said, but it's not welcome here, and any aspersions cast at Steve or Mary will be, greeted with immediate permanent ban, possibly after verbal humiliation. So everybody's been pretty cool since then, and I guess Mary was grateful, and we talked some, and I sent her some of my Flickr Street work, and that made me happy too to have someone of her stature become aware that I'm working on work that, while it may not be evident right away, was definitely inspired in many ways by Steve's work. Rest in peace, Steve. Um, has anyone else died lately that threw me off? Well, my good friend Reggie Dennis died a few weeks ago. I haven't addressed this on camera yet, but why not? Reggie lived in Charlotte. He was a grade behind me at my high school, and he knew who I was, but I didn't really know him. Um, and then a few years after I graduated, I met him. He answered an ad for a bass player that my then best friend's band was searching for. I was at his rehearsal and tryout, and he got it quick. He signed on for a year. He wanted to do other music, more funk, more jazz, more material of his own, but he kind of fit into the kind of prog punk experimenting, searching, but still kind of within some pop song structures zeitgeist that was chiaroscuro then. Of course, it evolved even beyond that, and it evolved further when the lineup changed, and I joined as the lead vocalist later. But Reggie and I never played. Well, we did play together once in chiaroscuro, my one live thing where I did a duet with their vocalist before me, Scott Terry, his first show. And my first show too, we did a duet of Glenn Danzig's "Twist of Cain." It was funny. Anyway, so um, Reggie's deceased. I don't know how he passed. Um, we had stayed in touch intermittently over the years. I'd gone to a bunch of their shows. He would come see me at Barnes and Noble. We would talk about astrology. We exchanged numbers. We began talking on the phone. We talked, about women problems and astrology, and of course music, and just the world itself. He would play me new things of his, and then he started hanging out at my house during a period where I was coming off of a very dark period, trying to kind of, come up from being submerged in it for 2 years of just unending depression and funk. And last year of it, I was socializing madly. I was drinking a lot. I was working a lot, but I was still socializing a lot, even while my bills were getting backed up and my phone was getting cut off. And I was having to make do without it. And my father said, Reggie was one of the people actually who was going to try to move in with me, and he kind of stiffed me, but it's okay because he wasn't the only one. This cat Tom did at the very last minute, and also my ex girlfriend Beth. So three people kind of pulled out on me, and I was like, "Daddy, can I come back home?" And he and I had not been the closest father son duos. Um, but I did. But right before that time, Reggie was a staple of my neighborhood for a number of weeks, and we would drink or smoke, not cigarettes, and just trip out, as we used to say. One time we went to see the movie The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and of course we knew Tammy Faye Baker. Well, I knew her personally a little bit, but we knew her from growing up in this area. The PTL club began here in Charlotte area, and so I laughed when I saw this new fictional version with Jessica Chastain of all people as Tammy Faye. I laughed at it, and I'm going to keep laughing at it every time I see it. I saw the real deal. I saw the documentary. I knew the real woman, not well, but I met her a number of times, had a couple of short conversations with her, followed her since before she was into the religious thing when her and Jim Baker did a kids TV show, and I was the target audience. I was like 4 or 5 years old, and a handful of years later they began the televangelism scam, in which Tammy eventually pulled out of and tried to atone for, and I believe did well. There was a period when I hated Tammy, and I would mock her because she was becoming such a caricature of a person. But she was a good soul. I really believe that. Jim went back to religion and after getting out of prison, and he's just a dirty fucking sleazy bastard. I don't think that's ever going to change. So, fuck him. Anyway, rest in peace, Tammy. Rest in peace, Reggie. He came to my new place a good bit and hung with me. A few times. We met up really. And then, we kind of lost touch. But I would see him occasionally at Borders, but we weren't as close friends. In 2002, I had a series of nervous breakdowns, and over the next year, kind of inadvertently alienated quite a lot of my friends who really didn't know what to make of me. And he was one of them. But gradually, through the power of Facebook, we started talking again in the 2010s, as I did with other people I'd lost touch with. And we started talking about hanging out in person again, and he started sending more of his new music. I started following, his gigs. I didn't get to go to any of them. but I tried to keep up with him. He joined a music chat group I have called Deep Listening Coven, um, and would contribute a lot of cool things there. Uh, and then I don't know. I was literally going to talk to him about either getting together and or something about music, and then I found out he died like the next day. And then after the weeks went by, and I didn't know, wasn't sure how I should talk about it. Well, one day I woke up and I saw something astrologically, and I was like, I think I'm gonna ask Reg about this. I was getting ready to text him. I'm like, what are you doing? He's no longer with us, and it's really sad. So rest in peace, Reggie. And as far as other new celebrity deaths, I don't know if any took me. I know there was one or two that kind of took me off guard, but I'm having trouble remembering what they are. So let me get on to the thanks of the living people that I know for their sincere help lately. Again, Jessica Anderson, Mick Cantone, Tim Tolbert, Tim and Grace McLean, Via Wolf, Nicola Nazarino. These people, and I'm missing a bunch of people, I know, but these are some of the people that help keep me sane, that have been good and true friends. Um, and I love all of y'all. And the ones I'm forgetting, I'm sorry. The ones I used to shout out a lot too, the two gentlemen who are of the same family lineage that I discussed in the Things That Need Be Said video. They have not come forward to, have a meeting of the minds or reconcile or explain themselves as far as what their issue with me is, what the ghosting is about, or ghosting, the boycotting, I like to call it, because they're in my groups and friends with me on social media, but they, don't look at anything I do. They ignore it, and that's fine. I mean, a lot of it, even stuff that you think that they'd be interested in, but it's because I'm doing it. And the older of the two gentlemen was a bit harsher to me. However, he did try to kind of make amends afterwards, and I kind of left it hanging because I was hurt and I was annoyed by the way he had turned on me about it, and the things he had said about his young relative to me, and also to him about me, which is why I think the younger guy, uh, after 15 years of friendship, just stopped talking to me. And so when he did all these things, I removed him, the younger guy. I removed him from the projects he and I were working on together in order to preserve the sanctity of those projects, because I felt like his behavior was becoming erratic. I felt like I could trust him. He wouldn't try to hurt me or ruin anything I was doing, nor could he, but he could try. But I thought, why chance it? Because he's starting to go backward in his development as a person, and it was hard to see. It was sad to see, and I was trying to be firm, and I wasn't trying to do tough love, bang over the head, but firm, and honest were misconstrued as mean and assholeish, and I guess, and it's a situation that their family has to deal with. It's on them. If either of them or both of them want to be my friend again or collaborate creative with me again, that's fine. But I'm going to really need some receipts as to why I have been treated this way. So I, in turn, am ignoring them. But I just wanted to follow up on that. Um, Get the good energy, the bad energy, whatever out. Um, Beyond all that, I don't think there's a whole lot left to say. That's where I'm at with my projects. Flickr Street is exploding in my mind daily with more new ideas and revelations and epiphanies. My new therapist is proving to be very helpful. My longtime peer support situation is ended. They graduated me when I really kind of still need them, but okay, I'm on my own. What the hell? Um, and my job situation is just, I'm working as I can, when I can, uh, getting money when I can, however I can to get ahead on my bills. I'm almost up to date on my major bills that I get monthly. I'm very close. Then I have to dive into my credit cards and at least put a little minimum on them or put a lot and either take that toward my next set of bills or towards that a property tax. I have a couple of other opportunities. I'm trying to renew my food stamps. I did all the paperwork. I have not spoken to anyone. My food stamps, I got a nice allotment for quite a while, and they have really helped me survive. Getting drinks for work, working at a place with groceries. I've been able to buy my groceries there. I've been able to buy, vegan and vegetarian stuff that, is a little more expensive, but really healthy, but it's not nearly as expensive as when I buy it at the bigger chains like the regional Harris Teeter, which is a giant grocery store conglomerate that I worked for years ago. That was my first job. Um, but so when they expire, well, they have expired. So when I spend the rest of them, which will be this week, I'm sure, uh, that'll be another thing to worry about. So anyway, but I've stocked up. I've done the zombie apocalypse, the preparedness thing. So other than occasionally refilling drinks and condiments and things, I have a lot of meal sources to cook for myself and snacks for quite some time. I made a beautiful stir fry last night of various things that I've cobbled together, and it turned out incredible. So anyway, trying to eat healthy. I'm starting to lose weight again. Feel good about that. So that's it. To close, I'm just gonna toss a few things at you. You may or may not care or be interested in, but these are some things that I'm selling. I really need to sell them. I really need the money. So I'm just gonna talk to you about these for maybe 5 minutes. Contraband by Lucio Fulci. The Blu-ray is coming out. I'm selling this DVD. About $16, our best offer. The Return of the One-Armed Swordsman, out of print with the slipcover. I haven't listed this yet, but I'm about to. And I have listed this for maybe 20 some dollars, I believe. Golden Swallow, also Shaw Brothers with Ching Pei Pei. Great movie. Also Jimmy Wang Yu. I don't know how I'm selling. I'm selling most of these in the $10 to $30 range, depending on what it is. Return to the 36 Chamber with the slipcover. I believe I'm doing 25 on this. But like I said, make me an offer. Mad Monkey Kung Fu, it's one of the cheaper ones. 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, right now I have it down to $9.75, and several people are interested. With slipcover, pristine. Lady Hermit, kind of an odd one by Funimation, also out of print. I have this listed now for $45. It's rare and it's a treasure. It is a beautiful, beautiful item. Again, the great Ching Pei Pei in her classic days. And here's Ching Pei Pei again. And Come Drink With Me, King Hu's classic wuxia film that kind of started it all. Also selling this Shaw Brothers edition. This is coming out on Blu-ray too this month. I don't know when I'll be able to buy it, but that makes me feel okay about selling it. And the King Boxer, Five Fingers of Death. I think I'm selling this for around 15 or 20, but I'm going to start bringing it down. It is out of print and rare. It is included in the films in the Shaw Scut box that I covered in an episode of Blue Review. So let me exhale here at some point. And say yes. So that's just some stuff going on. Other than the Fulci, obviously they're all kind of martial arts stuff, but that's what was right on top. I've got some other. I've got two. I'll have to show you real quick. A double set. When they came out, they were rather popular in demand. A company called Panic House put out this Pinky Inferno. What is it called? The Pinky Inferno collection. Or the Pinky Vintage. I can't even read that. But Pinky Roman or Pinku Iga, basically sexy movies, rough, sexy movies. Sometimes they cross over into other genres. This is a classic of the genre by Taro Oishi, I believe, did this one. And this is starring Reiko Iki as Ocho Inoshika, which is a character knockoff on Lady Snowblood. It's like Lady Snowblood, but a lot sleazier. And more nudity. It's a cool movie. It comes in a nice little slipcase. This is long out of print. It's completely intact. I'm selling this for $95 or best offer. And then the sequel, Sex and Fury. This one was also with Christina Lindbergh from Thriller Cruel Picture. This is also complete. This was a little more of a spy samurai movie, but still erotica. Still Reiko Iki as Ocho Inoshika. These are set around 1905, by the way, and I can't remember off the top of my head which Japanese era that was. And I'm going to continue probably to clean off these plastics. I mean, they look good now, but I'm going to really make them shine. These are both $95 each. But yeah, I'll take offers. So just want to show you that. I've got lots of goodies like this. I got a ton of books I listed. I haven't listed a lot of books until recently again, and I got tons of comic books. I'm still going crazy with Avengers, Doctor Strange, you name it. All the Doctor Strange people who are into the new movie are going to would do well to explore the original Doctor Strange. This was the first issue called Doctor Strange that was ever given to me by my mother when I was a child. Same copy, Doctor Strange number 10. I think it's 1974, perhaps. Not in great condition, but I am selling it. So, and I've got tons of other books, more coming. Stacks behind me, they're everywhere. I got horror, I got indie stuff, I got science fiction, I got poetry, I got Ernest Hemingway, I got Edgar Rice Burroughs, Stephen Hawking, every genre of movie, and like I said, the comics keep coming. So I've got 300 some items listed now, and I have at least 500 to 600 more to list, and I've sold a few hundred in the last 2.5 years. So really liquidating the collection. So anyway, if you're interested, please purchase. Please check out my eBay store, link below. That's my update. I want to thank everybody. So I'll be back soon with Blue Review and or Bottomless Well, and maybe some other surprises. So thanks everybody. Thanks for helping me. Thanks for putting up with me. And